All right, hello from Indy. Just a quick little update here. Kind of cooled off a little bit. I just got done taking the sway bar off just to clean it up. It's just, I redid the front end on this, and sway bar I really didn't mess with, so I want to clean that up. The bushings are fine. They don't need replaced, but it's just greasy and grimy. And I want to clean up the underneath of that K-member a little bit better. So we'll get that clean and painted. Then I've been working on my setup bearings for the ring and pinion when I get ready to do this. So that goes on there, and I mean, you can see it just barely will turn. It's a very snug fit. You can see. If you get it cocked just right, you can get it stuck on there. See? So, but it does come off. I've just got it's a little easier to do with one. There we go. And you want that. You want it to fit really tight like that. So I'll get the bottom done. And I do that. It's my die grinder. And man, I don't know how I can show you with two hands, but you just you'll get the drift. Imagine I'm holding this like this, and you'll put the die grinder in there, and you just go around in circles. You just make sure you hold that flat. You can tell you're flat because it rests on there like that, and you just want to go around. So you would with the die grinder, and I go around about 10 circles, and then I'll test it. And just keep doing that till it you'll know when you're getting really close. And you don't want to force it, because if you do, you'll get it pushed on there, and then you'll have to press it off. And you can see it really won't turn on there. It is slide down, but it won't turn. There we go. Come on. So the reason I do this is when you're setting this up, rather than taking everything apart, putting it in a press, you can do this much quicker. It's handy. And once you do a set, I mean, you can keep them. Then I've got my other bearings over here, the stuff I'm actually going to use. And I know I tell you guys all this all the time, but I'm going to put together this whole thing with a new. Now, obviously, this is one of the eBay cheapies, but everything else is not. And I'm going to put it all together for a fraction of the cost, just because I've been patient, and I just look on eBay and Facebook and look for things. Like I found this online. This is a Yukon crush sleeve eliminator, and they're almost $90. I got it for 30. The bearings I got really cheap by just waiting. Pick them up for $10 or $15. So anyway, that's my advice to you. Just plan way ahead and just, wait for the deals to come to you. Saves you a little bit of money. We could all use that. And then Dad and I went to lunch today, and he gave me his old book from when he started GM. I don't know if they still do. It used to be when you were an executive at GM, you had to go to the GM college up in Detroit. Everybody did. Every executive had to, for some classes and training. And this is one of his books, and it's just air fuel ignition, a power primer. And GM was in the business until the 90s of automobile, aircraft, and diesel engines. Obviously, the automobiles, you know about that. Aircraft, they owned Allison engine, Allison's, so they made, like the 250s, the T56 engines, those kind of things. And then the diesels, Detroit Diesel was owned by General Motors. And so this is an introduction to the internal combustion engine. Notice that's engine, and it goes into a lot. I mean, this is not just a little cartoon book. It's pretty, not greatly advanced, but it gets into it. Jet engines, all of them. And of course, when I came around a little bit later, they had a room set up, a display room set up, and you'd go in there, and they'd have a jet engine, a diesel engine, a gasoline engine, and they'd have cutaways, and they'd explain to you how they work. And they also, at that point in time, in the late 80s and early 90s, the electric motors, electric car thing was just starting to come on, and turbine-powered cars. Of course, they had done some in the 60s, but in the late 80s, they were really kind of giving that a look again, and it didn't pan out. So then you had the internal combustion engine, and then you also had the motor display. And so the question is, what I'm getting at is, you see all the time, well, is it a motor or is it an engine? Well, there is a clear definition on that. This is an engine. It is not a motor. It is an engine. Now, see right back there? That's a blower motor. But this is an engine. It's a windshield wiper motor. But that's an engine. And that's the difference. An engine is an internal combustion engine. Right there. And it runs on gas, diesel, JP8, Jet A, whatever it runs on. Again, there's your motor, electric motor. So there is a difference, and it does matter. And in the eyes of General Motors, there was a clear distinguishment on that. So anyway, thought I would share that with you. You might be able to find that somewhere. Let's take a look. It just goes into all kinds of interesting things in here. This is, of course, the automobile engine, the fuel, intake and compression strokes, the power stroke, your exhaust stroke. And it goes into detail on jet engines, diesel engines, etc. So, and I got these things. I'll get fixed up just to have. Got a good deal on them, so I grabbed them. And that ought to be enough for today. Just figure I'd give everybody an update. All right, later.